Alexandra Villarroel Abrego and you are watching another episode of A.V.A. Wednesday. In today's episode, I'm going to answer a question that I received from Sonia, who writes to us all the way from France, and she asks, "Hi Alexandra, I've had a very tumultuous childhood. I've been abused more than once and went from foster home to foster home as a child. Being now in my late 20s, I realized that I don't know how to love myself, and it affects every aspect of my life, from my relationships with others to my career. I know that this is because of my childhood and all of what I've been put through. Could you please give me some advice on how to love myself? I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Sonia." Well, thank you to you, Sonia, for your beautiful question. I always say, and I really believe, that all of us, all of the human beings in the world, our collective purpose and mission in life really is to love. So it's to learn how to love every person, every piece of the world, really, every single fragment of this world, and especially also us. It's really to learn how to love. I think that it's very courageous of you to share your experiences with us, and I also congratulate you on the fact that you finally realize that all of the inner conflicts that you have today in your life are due to your childhood and what happened in your childhood. I congratulate you for this, because it's not everyone who understands this, and it takes people years, decades, to really come to a point of their lives when they can finally understand this. For anyone, including yourself, who has gone through situations like that, very traumatic childhoods, first of all, I want you all to understand that this does not mean that you are unable to love yourself. This does not mean at all that you will never be capable of loving yourself or even of loving other people. Absolutely not. There's a lot of people out there who believe that if they go through loveless situations, so let's say if they grew up in a lot of violence, abuse, mistreatment, they think that they're like condemned for life to never have healthy relationships, to never love themselves. Absolutely not. And the first step to breaking the chains really is to understand where your inner conflicts of today come from, and usually they come from your childhood. The first thing that I want every single person on this planet Earth really to understand is that self-love is not some kind of thing that you go out and get. It's not something that you're going to find in other people. It's not something that you're going to find in things. It's not something that you're going to find in a career. Absolutely not. There's so many people out there searching for or self-love or happiness in things or in other people, in exterior things really, when in actuality self-love and also happiness is found deep within you. I want you to look back many years ago when you were first born, when you were 1 month old, 2 months old, 6 months old, 1 year old, 2 years old. After that, things started to change, but at that beginning stage of your life, from the moment that you were born to when you were 2 years old or even 3 years old, I'm pretty sure you don't remember anything from that period of your life, but any baby really at that time of their lives is at the essence of who they are, really. So a baby, a 1-year-old baby, if they go in front of the mirror, do you think they're going to start saying, "Oh my God, I need to lose weight," or "I need to gain weight," or "My hair needs to start growing, I should get like extensions or something"? A baby, when it first comes to the world, is really at the essence of what we all should be. It's the essence of love. So a baby, a child, when it's first born, loves themselves. It's just happy to have a body. It's just happy to be alive, and it's so curious, and it wants to know everything, and it's trying to smell everything and put everything in their mouths, because they're so curious about life, and they see beauty in everything, including themselves. What happened after that? What happened to our self-love and our happiness? What happened is the outside world happened. Is media happened. It's your parents or your teachers or the members of your community or the television or the magazines. They started teaching you that who you were was not good enough, that who you were wasn't lovable, that in order to be lovable, to love yourself, and for others to accept you, well, you had to look like a certain standard of what beauty should be. And that's what happened. That's when the self-love started to disappear. For others, like you, Sonia, it's when you first started to be abused. When you first started to go from foster home to foster home, it started to get that sense of people don't want me. And people just want to abuse me. People just want to use me. That's when your self-love started to fade away. But in reality, that self-love is not as if it just ran away. It's inside of you. It's just hidden. It's just somewhere, you know, there's a pile of other things, of judgments, of criticism, of abuses, of scars, but it's inside of you. So that's the first thing that I want everyone to understand. Stop looking for love or self-love outside of yourself. It's inside of yourself that you're going to find it, not outside. So the first thing is to understand that you have all of what it takes inside of you, all of the tools, all of the love, all of the happiness, deep inside of you. So first of all, I want you to return to that love. It's first of all the remembering and the returning of who you are, of the love that you have really within you. That's the first thing that I really want you to understand if you really want to love yourself. The second thing when it comes to self-love and loving yourself is acceptance. We always hear that, and we hear that we need to accept ourselves in order to love ourselves. But what does it really mean? I like to be out in nature, and I like to observe nature and to look at nature for examples of life. I think that nature in itself is so beautiful, but also it's such a great teacher. And it teaches you how life is. Just if you look at the seasons, you know, after the winter comes the spring. If you look at how if you don't harvest during the summer, you know, in winter you're gonna be hungry or whatever. You know, there's so many great examples in nature. I'm not gonna really talk about that, but what I want you to understand here is, let's say a rose. A rose is beautiful. Flowers, all flowers are just beautiful. But a rose, if you look at it in nature, all its really beauty of the rose, it's not out there trying to look like a tulip. It's not looking at the tulip and saying, I want to have the colors that the tulip has. I don't want to look like this anymore. I should change myself. I should look like the tulip. And the tulip is not looking at the rose saying, oh my God, I want to look like the rose. I need to look more like the rose. I need to stop looking like a tulip. That doesn't happen in nature because the rose knows that it's a rose and is happy being the rose. It grows and it expands and it knows that it's beautiful, that it's a rose, and it's okay with that, with being a rose. And the tulip also, it's just happy being a tulip, knows that it's beautiful, that she is or he is, I don't know if it's a she or a he, is beautiful the way that they are really. So all roses, and it's the same thing for trees. Trees are not trying to be different from what they are. They know that they are okay the way they are, and flowers know that they are beautiful and people love them the way they are. So that's the second thing that I want you to understand. I want you to accept who you are as you are and not try to be something else. Because believe me, that the rose, no matter how hard it tries to be a tulip, I promise you, it will remain a rose. And the tulip, no matter how hard it tries to be a rose, it will remain a tulip. And it's the same for you. No matter how hard you try to look like what you see on television or in magazines, you will remain who you are. And who you are is already beautiful. It's already perfect. It's the way that it should be. So stop trying to change that. And finally, and once again, this is an example that comes from nature. We were talking about the roses. So a rose, after it starts growing, well, of course, it needs water and sun to grow and to get to its fullest potential. And it's the same thing for you. You need to be nurtured. In order for your self-love to not die, you know, after you return to love and after you accept yourself for who you are, and then you need to nurture your self-love, because if not, it can just die out eventually. So the third thing, and this is probably the most important thing of it all, is that you need to take care and nurture your body, your mind, and your spirit. These are the three elements that make you who you are, that make every human being who they are. So first of all comes your body, so it's everything that's on the outside, but also some of the things are in the inside, like let's say your lungs. So if you're saying that you love yourself but you smoke every day, knowing the consequences of smoking, well, there's a problem. You probably don't love yourself enough to understand that you are hurting your body. So when you love yourself, you know that you would never do nothing to hurt yourself. Just the way that if you love someone, if it's real love, you would never do anything to hurt that person. So it's the same thing for your nutrition. Whatever you put in your body, really, you are what you eat. So make sure that what you eat is good for your body and is really, I think that eating can really show what a person eats really shows the level of self-love that that person has for themselves. I really think that if you want to know how much a person loves themselves, go look at what they eat. It's going to be a great way to tell if they love themselves. So first comes the body, second comes the mind. So everything that you know. I don't care how healthy you eat, and I don't care how connected to your spirit you are. If you don't take time to learn new things, you're not loving yourself. You need to learn, you need to grow, you need to develop. You really need to learn new things. So start reading. And I'm not talking about the Vampire Diaries here. I'm talking about books that will increase your knowledge. You can only do what you know. So make sure that you know a lot so that you can do a lot. And finally is, of course, your spirit. So be connected to your spirit. Be connected to a higher source, to a higher power. Don't think that you're the most powerful, that you're the strongest in the world, because that's not true. You're just a little particle in the world, and know that there's a greater source. Some people call it the universe, others call it the Buddha. I call it personally God. However you want to call it, the important thing is simply to know that there is a higher source and a higher power in the world. So that is it for today. I hope that this video helped you, Sonia, to know how to love yourself. And for anyone else who is watching, this is really how you love yourself. You return to the love that you already have deep within you. You accept yourself for who you are, and then you nurture your body, your mind, and your spirit. If you like the video, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe for new videos in English every single Wednesday. You can also go on my website, AlexandraVillarroel.com, and you can subscribe to my email list to receive free tips and emails once in a while. And that's it for today. I will see you next week. My name is Alexandra Villarroel Abrego. Bye-bye.